We are constantly flooded with articles, podcasts, and wellness advice telling us to eliminate stress at all costs if we want to protect our health. We treat stress like an absolute, singular villain. Welcome to Dr. Levitas. But this conventional wisdom is completely wrong. What if the problem isn't stress itself, but rather our profound misunderstanding of how stress operates inside ourselves? Think of a raging, out-of-control wildfire. It sweeps through a dry canyon, moving with terrifying speed, turning everything to ashes. That is toxic, unmanaged stress. But now, think of a beautifully controlled campfire, safely contained within a ring of stone. This fire provides warmth on a freezing night and allows you to cook a nourishing meal. Both of these scenes feature the exact same element, fire. One completely devastates everything it touches, while the other nurtures and facilitates growth. Today, we are diving deep into the hidden molecular pathways of your nervous system to discover how to transform your daily pressure from a force of destruction into a tool for ultimate growth. Please take a second to like the video and leave a comment. Engagement is a huge help to the channel. Let's tackle a fascinating paradox that leaves many people completely confused. Why can some types of acute stress actually make your muscles grow and repair faster? If stress is universally bad, then going to the gym and lifting heavy weights should be considered a terrible health habit. When you step underneath a heavy barbell or push through an intense interval workout, you are subjecting your body to a massive, immediate spike in physical stress. Your heart rate skyrockets, your blood pressure surges, and your nervous system screams in defiance. Yet, your body responds to this acute assault by building thicker muscle tissue, stronger bones, and a more resilient cardiovascular network. Why does this happen? The secret lies in a beautiful biological phenomenon known as hormesis. Hormesis is a process where a brief, temporary dose of a low-level stressor triggers an overcompensatory adaptation response inside your living tissues. When you apply an acute, short-term stressor to a muscle fiber, you create localized metabolic strain and structural microtears. Your brain doesn't view this brief crisis as a death sentence. It views it as a biological wake-up call. The temporary spike in cortisol and adrenaline acts as an immediate signaling mechanism. It tells your cellular machinery that your current structure is insufficient to handle the demands of your environment. The moment that acute stressor ends, your body immediately initiates a muscle-building cascade. It floods the area with growth factors, elevates protein synthesis, and mobilizes specialized stem cells to repair the tissue so that it returns larger, stronger, and more capable than before. The stress was the essential spark that ignited the entire growth process. Without that initial, controlled campfire of acute physical pressure, your body sees absolutely no biological reason to adapt or evolve. This brings us to a foundational scientific question. What is the exact molecular difference between bad stress, which we call distress, and good stress, which we call eustress? If both types of stress activate our internal alarm systems, why do they lead to completely opposite physical outcomes over time? To understand this system clearly, we have to look directly at the cellular response curve that governs human biology. Remember, the human relationship with stress is completely non-linear. The sweet spot of eustress, where a low to moderate stress stimulus produces a profoundly positive, adaptive cellular response. In this zone, your body is challenged but not overwhelmed. The molecular footprint of eustress is characterized by a temporary, sharp rise in adrenaline followed by a rapid, clean return to baseline rest. This pattern keeps your hormone receptors highly sensitive and agile. But look at what happens when the stress stimulus crosses the peak and descends into the red zone on the right. This is the domain of distress. The molecular difference isn't the specific chemicals being released, it is the timeline of their presence. In a state of eustress, cortisol rises briefly to mobilize energy and then drops away. In a state of distress, the stressor never truly turns off. Your body is subjected to a constant, low-grade, unending drip of cortisol and inflammatory cytokines, such as interleukin-6 and TNF-alpha. This continuous chemical bath fundamentally changes your cellular behavior. Instead of triggering an adaptation for growth, it locks your body into a permanent state of defensive survival, where cellular repair is indefinitely postponed and metabolic health begins to degrade. Now let's explore an intentional way to harness this mechanism in your everyday life. How does a freezing cold shower turn on a survival shield inside your cells? Deliberate cold exposure has become incredibly popular in modern health circles, but many people don't realize that its true power has nothing to do with burning calories or testing your mental toughness. It is entirely about triggering a profound molecular defense system through eustress. When freezing cold water hits your skin, it triggers an immediate, survival-level sympathetic shock. Your brain perceives an environmental threat to your core body temperature. In response to this acute eustress, your cells immediately activate a highly specialized family of protective proteins known as heat shock proteins and cold shock proteins, specifically one called RBM3. These shock proteins act as structural scaffolding inside your cells. When your body is stressed, your internal cellular proteins can become structurally deformed and tangled. Cold shock proteins rush to the rescue, wrapping around your delicate cellular machinery to prevent protein degradation and maintain structural integrity. Furthermore, a landmark study published in the journal Cell Metabolism demonstrated that brief, acute cold stress activates a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. Your cells respond to the temporary cold emergency by rapidly manufacturing brand new, highly efficient power plants inside your tissues. This upgrades your baseline energy production, enhances insulin sensitivity, and shields your cells from oxidative stress. By stepping into the cold intentionally for just 2 minutes, you are essentially running a fire drill for your cells, ensuring that your internal survival shield remains sharp, functional, and ready for action. Now that we have looked at the beauty of the building shield, we have to look directly into the dark side of unmanaged pressure. Why does chronic psychological stress, like dealing with a toxic boss or worrying about finances, physically dissolve your bicep and thigh tissue for fuel? To your cells, a chronic psychological worry isn't just an unpleasant thought, it is a tangible physical emergency. When you are trapped in a state of chronic distress, your adrenal glands continuously pump out high levels of cortisol. In short bursts, cortisol is a beautiful lifesaver that helps mobilize glucose so you can run away from danger. But when cortisol stays elevated for days, weeks, or months at a time, it transforms into a highly catabolic tissue dissolver. Cortisol's primary objective in a crisis is to ensure survival by keeping blood glucose levels elevated at all costs. To accomplish this, it initiates a destructive pathway known as gluconeogenesis in the liver. Because you aren't physically running away from a real predator, your body doesn't need to burn fat for fast energy. Instead, cortisol actively signals your skeletal muscle tissue to undergo proteolysis, which is the systematic breaking down of muscle proteins into individual amino acids. Your body literally begins to harvest the precious protein stored inside your biceps, your triceps, and your thighs, converting that functional tissue into sugar to feed a ghost emergency in your mind. This is why chronic anxiety can make you feel weak, depleted, and structurally fragile, no matter how hard you are working out or how much protein you are consuming. Your internal environment is set to dismantle rather than build. What happens to your hormone receptors when your body stays locked in the stress red zone for more than 48 hours straight? This is where the long-term metabolic damage of chronic distress truly accelerates, creating a state of hormonal chaos that can derail your health goals. Your cells communicate using an intricate system of locks and keys. The hormones circulating in your blood, like insulin, thyroid hormones, and testosterone, are the keys, and the delicate receptors on the surface of your cell membranes are the locks. In a healthy, balanced state, these receptors are highly sensitive, It only takes a small amount of a hormone to unlock the cell and trigger a healthy metabolic action, like burning energy or repairing tissue. But when you remain locked in a high-stress state for more than 48 hours, the constant flood of cortisol and adrenaline forces your cells to take a drastic defensive action. To protect themselves from overstimulation, your cell membranes systematically down-regulate their receptors. They essentially change the locks on the cellular doors. This leads directly to a clinical state known as glucocorticoid receptor resistance. Because your cells have locked out the stress hormones, your brain responds by pumping out even more cortisol to get the message through, creating a vicious cycle of hormonal resistance. At the same time, this receptor lockout spills over into your other metabolic systems, driving up insulin resistance and lowering thyroid function. Your metabolism slows down, your energy levels crash, and your body enters a stubborn storage mode because it believes it is trapped in an unending environmental crisis. This brings us to a major structural flaw in human design. How does your evolutionary caveman biology know the difference between a heavy barbell and an unpaid bill? The blunt, clinical answer is, it doesn't. Your nervous system possesses a massive evolutionary blind spot. The ancient architecture of your brain, specifically the amygdala and the hypothalamus, evolved millions of years ago to handle simple, immediate physical threats. When a primitive human encountered a predator, the sympathetic nervous system fired completely, providing the physical power to fight or flee. The entire event was resolved within minutes. You either survived the threat and returned to a state of calm eustress, or you didn't. In our modern world, we use the exact same ancient hardware to process entirely different stressors. Your brain cannot distinguish between the survival stress of lifting a heavy weight, the environmental stress of an ice bath, or the psychological stress of an incoming text message from an angry client. To your subconscious mind, an unpaid bill or a traffic jam fires the exact same primitive biological alarm as a wild animal charging directly at you. This is why lifestyle design and mental perception are so critical. If you layer intense, exhausting gym sessions on top of a life that is already drowning in chronic psychological distress, your brain doesn't see the gym as a healthy lifestyle choice. It sees it as yet another threat to your survival, pushing you further down the slope of systemic exhaustion. To build a resilient body, you must learn to balance your physical stressors with conscious, intentional periods of psychological safety. So, how do we take control of this system? What is the 60-second mental reset to turn toxic, fat-storing distress into productive, muscle-building energy? The secret lies in a non-pharmacological, biological bypass system hidden right inside your respiratory mechanics. While you cannot consciously command your adrenal glands to stop secreting cortisol, you can instantly control the primary nerve that dictates your heart rate and autonomic state, the vagus nerve. The absolute fastest, clinically proven way to deactivate the sympathetic alarm system is a technique known as the physiological sigh. Discovered by behavioral physiologists and extensively validated in modern neuroscience literature, the physiological sigh takes exactly less than a minute to execute and completely resets your internal pressure valve. Here is exactly how you do it. 1. Take a deep inhale. Inhale through the nose. Draw a deep, full breath in through your nose, filling your lungs to roughly 90% of their maximum capacity. 2. Take a sharp second inhale. Maximize lung volume. Without exhaling, snap a second, sharp inhale through your nose to completely inflate the microscopic air sacs in your lungs, known as alveoli. 3. Perform a long, slow exhale, sigh through the mouth. Release the air through your mouth with a slow, prolonged, relaxed sigh, letting your jaw completely relax as the air exits. When you perform this double inhale followed by an extended exhale, you cause a rapid collapse of the carbon dioxide levels in your bloodstream. This specific pressure shift triggers a mechanical reflex that stimulates the vagus nerve, sending an immediate chemical signal to your brain that the emergency is officially over. Your heart rate slows down, your blood vessels dilate, and the toxic drip of distress is instantly halted. By practicing this simple, zero-cost micro-habit multiple times throughout your day, you actively shift your body out of defensive storage mode and back into a vibrant, adaptable state of cellular growth. Here is the doctor's verdict. Your journey toward optimal health is never about living a life completely devoid of challenge or pressure. True vitality is found when we learn to step back, honor our biology, and understand that stress can be sculpted into an elite tool for transformation. When you choose to protect your mental boundaries, balance your intense workouts with conscious recovery, and use simple tools like the Physiological Sigh to manage your nervous system, you're stepping out of the cycle of destruction. You are choosing to transform the wild, toxic fires of daily life into a controlled, beautiful campfire that fuels your longevity, protects your lean tissue, and honors your long-term health. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. How are you going to use Eustress to upgrade your life this week? Stay mindful, protect your cellular shield, and I will see you in the very next video. Watch this video suggestion, it was especially picked for you. Please share, comment, like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thank you, it helps a ton with the algorithm. Remain tuned for future videos and keep growing.